Raider Nation, what's going on? Hope you guys are still enjoying the holiday. We picked up an absolute beast of a tight end. I'm going to break down who this guy is. I'm going to go over just kind of how it affects Michael Mayer and the new injury news that was just announced, and how it's going to affect this tight end room. So, if you could please like this video, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications. I definitely appreciate you guys. You guys have been doing amazing for me the last couple of weeks, and let's just keep that rolling. But before I do, I announced a few winners to my previous giveaway. So I'm going to pop them up here real quick. Again, if you guys can reach out to me, Stu Savage at West Coast Sav, please email me, as well as Eddie and Margie Santos at edmargie1. Email me at realraider805@gmail.com, please, so I can send you the instructions to redeem your giveaway. And again, guys, to show my appreciation, I'm going to be doing another giveaway at 2,500 subscribers. So please, if you could, like the video and hit that subscribe button, because all my subscribers will be included in the giveaway when I hit 2,500. So let's kind of get into this. Zach Gentry. Zach Gentry is a 6'8", 265-pound, just massive human being. He's huge. We just got him off of the Cincinnati practice squad. He played at Michigan. He was drafted in 2019 in the 5th round by the Pittsburgh Steelers. First and foremost, let's go ahead, do me a huge favor, like this video. Just like this video to welcome Zach Gentry to the Silver and Black Nation. Once you're a Raider, you're always a Raider. And so let's go ahead and give him that support. Like this video. Let's show that support for Zach Gentry and welcome to the Silver and Black. Let's go a little bit over his stats in Michigan. His senior year was his biggest year. He played 12 games. He had 32 receptions for a little over 500 yards. And I think he ended with 2 touchdowns. So mainly his senior year was his best year at Michigan. And then he got drafted by Pittsburgh in 2019. He didn't play the 2020 season. Now, that was the COVID year, so he might have sat out that year. I don't know exactly why he did, but he sat out the 2020 season, and his stats with Pittsburgh through the 2019, 21-22 season, he played 39 games. He had 39 receptions on 49 targets, just over 300 yards receiving, averaged 7.8 yards a catch, but he didn't have any touchdowns. So I don't know how much you guys know about this kid. I'm going to break him down a little bit further, just how kind of the pros and cons that I see out of him. I broke down his Michigan film. I broke down some of his highlights with the Steelers. And so I'm going to kind of give my pros and cons and kind of how it affects our tight end situation. So let me know in the comments below if you like this pick. Let me know yes or no. You just write yes or no or Y or N. Let me know if you like this pick in the comments down below. So some of the pros, again, just based on me watching his Michigan film and some of his highlights with Pittsburgh, is number one, obviously he's a big body, 6'8", 265 pounds. He brings a lot to the run game. One of the things that I really saw in the highlights was he was breaking off some pretty good blocks against some elite edge rushers, outside linebackers. Some of the highlights, you see him blocking up against Von Miller, Robert Quinn, Jadeveon Clowney. He was being able to seal those guys off or even kick those guys out very effectively. So I think he's going to really help us in the run game specifically. And then, obviously he's a great red zone target. A lot of his targets at Michigan, and you see just his ability, just because of that 6'8" frame, he's able to body up a lot of defensive backs, linebackers, and get in good position to prepare himself for the catch. So I think being a red zone body is going to be huge for him, for us. But then at 6'8", he's actually surprisingly athletic. I recommend you go back and look at his highlights. He's surprisingly athletic. When he gets that ball in his hands and he gets going, he maneuvers fairly well in open space. So I think he's going to help us there. And then one of the things that I noticed was that he does very well in zone coverage. He finds the open zones. He finds the vacant areas. He sits well in open areas. And so I think against zone coverage, he does very well. Now, some of the cons. Now, there's not a lot of highlights or a lot of film on this guy. So The only cons that I could really see is one is I'm not sure how well he does in man coverage. Reason being is because he's not very quick. He's not very quick, and you'll see a lot of quick tight ends out there, but he doesn't have a lot of quickness to him. So maybe in man coverage, he struggles to separate from the defender. So that might be a little bit of a struggle on his end. And two, the only con I'm only saying this is because look, he didn't really get a huge shot against this with the Steelers, and then he's been on Cincinnati's practice squad this entire year. So why he wasn't elevated, I'm not exactly sure. Now, one thing that you have to add is I think there's a reason why he might not have had as much success with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because look, you have Pat Freiermuth over there, a very good tight end, and then they just drafted Darnell Washington from Georgia, the big body, 6'7", 300. I think he's about 260-pound tight end, or probably close to 280, probably. Tight end out of Georgia. So, that tight end room with the Pittsburgh Steelers was stacked. And also, it was last year where they brought in the new offensive coordinator, Matt Canada. So there might have been just a difference in strategy, difference of offensive mindset or scheme that might have pushed him kind of down a little bit on the totem pole in that tight end room. So, to me, I think that he might have just kind of got lost in that mix. But I'll tell you one thing. There were highlights when you saw Zach Gentry and Darnell Washington on one side of the line, lead blocking for, Najee Harris, some of those running backs. And that's a scary sight. You got two guys that are 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", 265, 280 pounds coming at you. That's a scary sight. And so, seeing him helping in the run game, I think is going to be pretty crucial. Now, let's take a look at what this means for Michael Mayer. Now, Michael Mayer, all this week, we're leading up into our matchup against the Colts. Michael Mayer did not play against the Kansas City Chiefs, and he has not practiced all week. We had a practice on Thursday, which was labeled a walkthrough that he didn't participate in. Now, they're saying that he has a toe injury, and if this is something like turf toe, we may not see Michael Mayer for the rest of the season, and that's going to be a tough one to swallow. You got a guy, Michael Mayer, that's really starting to turn it on. And if he misses the last two games of the season and we don't make the playoffs or don't make the postseason, that's going to be a hit to us. And if you look at our tight end room right now, we have Austin Hooper, veteran tight end. Great to have him. But Jesper Horsted, it was put on the IR. He didn't travel with the team last week. And I just looked. Cole Fotheringham, which was the tight end that played against Kansas City, I don't even see him on our depth chart online right now. So right now, it looks like we're going into this game. If Michael Mayer truly cannot play, we are going into this game with Austin Hooper and this new tight end, Zach Gentry. And so with that being said, where can Zach Gentry help us? Number one, there's a really good chance that we're going to see him get a decent amount of playing time against the Colts, because one of the things that we know is right now our offensive game plan weighs heavily on our tight ends. We like to see double tight end sets. And with Michael Mayer and Austin Hooper, that's been huge for us over the last handful of weeks. And so to not have two tight ends on the field is going to hurt us. I think we saw that last week against Kansas City. But to just throw Zach Gentry in there without him knowing the offense is going to be tough. So the game plan with him is going to be very limited. The plays that he's going to come in for is going to be very limited, but we can use him in the run game. And I think we're going to use him potentially in red zone if we get in there, because he's a 6'8", 265-pound body. That is a huge red zones target. And if we know anything about Aiden O'Connell, he likes his tight ends, whether it be at Purdue, where his tight end was the second leader in receptions his senior year. So he loved hitting the tight ends at Purdue, and he started to get Michael Mayer involved as well. So we're going to see tight end work. And because of the injuries and the depth chart right now, we might see a lot of Zach Gentry. So that's kind of my breakdown of this new pickup. Guys, again, let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you like this pickup, yes or no. And then also, if you could, please help me on my path to 2,500 subscribers. So like the video, hit the subscribe button, turn those notifications, and I'll hit you guys on the next video. I'm out.